Welcome everybody. I hope this is good. I pressed stop streaming right before. So if you can hear me, if I am live, let me know. I want to make sure. I'm not positive. I should be good. How's it going, Felix? Long time no see. Haven't live streamed in a while. It's been just the playoffs actually, so figured we'd hop on and discuss some current going on with the Boston Bruins, I guess we can say. And I'll wait a little bit till I make sure I am live and everybody is here or more people tune in. Keep up at the MLB trade deadline while I'm at it. Perfect. Thank you, Brian. I do appreciate that. So we should be good. We should be good then. Want to start this one off with some Jeremy Swayman talk. I guess we've been doing that in quite a few videos lately, but we still have we still have a lot of opportunities until we actually see something coming. Perhaps you're right, Felix. There's been so many reports and rumors and everything that the Boston Bruins are getting this player. We're getting this player. We're linked to this player, and then we don't get any of them. And the whole Jeremy Swayman contract situation definitely isn't easing the mind on that front either. But yeah, I just want the season to start. I really do. I can't wait for this. I want to see what these the boys got with them. I want to see what we're rocking with this season. I like the changes that we've made. I will say that so far. I do like everything that we've done for the most part. We'll start it off with, I don't know what screenshot. I don't have them written down. Yeah, okay. So we're going to start with this one here. This guy obviously going to be talking about Jeremy Swayman first. Then we might move on to the extra forward that we've been supposedly being linked to with every player that is still remaining to be a free agent. But the Bruins currently have $8.6 million in cap space. I'm sure most of you have that number permanently etched into your brain now, with the amount of times I've been saying it in just about every video. But, you know, this is one of the screenshots that I was going on, that big video where we've seen that Jeremy Swayman could be making $10 million if it's a shorter 5-year deal. That's one thing that I don't like. And that's going to be a lot of money if that is the case. And you can see here, reminiscent of William Nylander in 2018, hopefully, and I really don't think he will hold out to December 1st. If he does, we are in trouble. That's not even a question. That's going to be a fact that we will be in trouble if he does hold out until December. I want to see Fabian too, Felix. Fabian, I think, has a lot of potential. It's just, if he's ready, if he's put on enough muscle, if he's strong enough, it's going to be a real telltale sign of what's going to happen in the first few games of what we see. But I do fully believe, and I have a lot of confidence in, that he will be a perfect fit in the lineup, and hopefully he will be that extra forward, so we don't have to go out and spend more money that we don't even have, or we're not going to have once Swayman is signed. But yeah, pulling a Tim Thomas, holding the team hostage. You're right though, Sean. I mean, I understand. Obviously, you want to make the money, but for what we've seen right now, and I do have as one of these screenshots, so bear with me. I don't know which one it is. Here we go. I'll pull this up on a bigger screen as well. If he's going to be making $10 million, if he's going to be making $9 million, that puts him automatically fourth highest or more of the paid goalies right now. And we know goalies don't make money. They're like a running back in football. They don't have the value of a contract, what they do compared to, their on-ice abilities. But, I don't like the idea of Jeremy Swayman even making really $9 million. He's very good, and I'm confident that he will make that at some point in his career, but right now, I think it's just a bit too early. 144 games played for Jeremy Swayman. And putting him along the names of Connor Hellebuyck, Andrei Vasilevsky, Sergei Bobrovsky, and even Carey Price, as much as the rivalry in those past years was there, he was an incredible goalie, and he was worth that money, and if he had stayed healthy, that would have been quite terrifying, to be honest with you. But the goalie's there, he matches up with them, but a lot of these guys here have much more experience, and that's the big thing that I'm a bit hesitant on. But yeah, Swayman will be signed long term. That is the case. He will be minimum 5 years. But apparently what we're seeing, and I will pull this up on that screenshot that I was mentioning here, this one here. Swayman could ask for less than $90 million per season if signed to an 8-year deal. That is what I fully believe the term will be. You know, I don't think the Bruins want to go less just to be safe. But if it goes less, $9 or even $10 million to a 5 or 6 year contract, that's what I'm a bit scared of. And you know, I'm sure all of you guys are too. You know, that's just one thing that does suck at the end of the day. $6 million by 5 years would be a steal of a contract, Sean. I don't know what I would do if I seen that contract. That would be elite. And yes, I like the other one as well. 6 by 8, because the cap is going up. We know that is, 8 mil, 8. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Sean. It's my bad. But yes, that contract will be very, very good, because we have to take that into consideration too. The cap is going up. It's going up quite a bit over the next few years from what we've seen from Gary Bettman, what he's been saying and everything. And we have to take that into consideration. But if it's a shorter term contract, like that 4 or 5, like you guys said, Sean and Ian, that 4 to 5, it might be a bit more just because Swayman's trying to get the money out of it. And that makes sense. But for the team, for the money, I think we want to see an 8-year deal. But 4 years would be an interesting one, because that's where you kind of get two options. Then you have the options of Brandon Bussi, drafting another goalie, Mikey DiPietro. Those guys, if they develop very, very well, that could be an opportunity. You know, that could be a great chance. But Swayman is that guy right now, and it's his net to lose, and he certainly will have that net at some point. And I forgot that screenshot. Was not my fault. But yeah, you know what we're going to see. It's one or the other. I think it's probably like a 75 to 25% of having that 8-year deal, having that ready to go, and then potentially going a shorter term. But Swayman wants to be here. That's the thing that we've seen. That's the thing that we know can happen. And we really just hope that is the case. Once again, never know with any of these contracts like this in the NHL, but it should be all right. You know, everything's fine. Swayman's around, and it's good. Yeah, I don't like Korpisalo either, Felix. You know, I think that he has a great potential to be better this season, especially with Bob, but it's going to take a lot. You know, he's not going to be that starting goalie. He'll be an all right backup for 20 games, but if we run into any trouble with an injury from Jeremy Swayman, God forbid, or anything like that, we're in trouble, because Korpisalo can't hold a net by himself for more than 30 games right now, I will say. And I'm not saying that won't be the case, but it's very unlikely. But when we traded for him, I made a video discussing that if he does end up being a very, very good goalie, develops more, he could be a pretty good trade candidate down the line. Excuse me, but he could be a pretty good trade candidate down the line, especially with another retention on like a 1 or 2 years left. That could be a pretty decent return for a team that's looking for a playoff goalie, whether a goalie gets hurt or someone who don't really have that number one starting goalie. I guess like we could say like LA a few years ago, or last season. Like, yeah, Sean Korpisalo definitely has the potential. It's just right now, especially last season, he was a bit iffy, which I don't know about. How's it going, Bruins fan? Welcome to the stream. Signing a goalie to 8 years is a gamble, but if someone around Swayman's age, you know, someone around mid to low 20s, you know, or even like 27, 8 years still not bad, because a goalie is not going to be taking hits and everything. There's not as much wear and tear on a goalie rather as a forward or defenseman, so it does help out a bit. But you know, around the age of 35, like what we're seeing right now with Bobrovsky and Vasilevsky, those guys are, you know, low to mid 30s. They're still very good. So I agree, Sean. I'm also a goalie, so I completely get what you're saying. I completely understand. Yeah, Felix, that's the same thought as mine as well. You know, Korpisalo will be good, especially with the team we have, the defense, the offense. We'll get those goals that we need to. if we have to win a game, 6-4, 6-5. But you can't rely on him every game, I think, is the big thing, which we all have the concern about, and, reasonably so. That's just the big part of it. So, it's still, anything can happen. We know it's a crazy league, especially now with, players breaking out like nothing. No, it's nobody's business, but it'd be a good surprise if anything like that does happen. Yeah, Ian Price really hasn't, but if he was stayed healthy, if he was healthy his entire career, no injuries at all, he would be, he would probably go down as the best goalie of all time. And he's already up on that list. He really is. But it's just the injuries. I don't want to see an injury to nobody. That's one thing that, part of the game, you don't want to see it, no matter if it's a bitter rival. It just sucks because you know that you wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of it either. Personally, or your team. So it does look bad now, but especially when it's on LTIR, it works out for the Canadians. And having I'll pull up again. There we go. Yeah, like Jordan Binnington, Jacob Markstrom, Philip Grubauer, Igor Shesterkin, all on the 5 to 6 millions. Those are the guys that if they make that and it's reasonable. And I think Swayman is above all those. I think he's above John Gibson. But personally, I would put Swayman in between that Sorokin Gibson contract, like flat 8 million is what I would probably offer. I'm sure the Bruins have as well, but it's a tough situation to go to. And you can look at the ages there too. 36 for Carey Price, 35 for Sergei Bobrovsky, 10 million on his cap hit. And we know what he did last season. Vasilevsky, 30 years old, still very young. Connor Hellebuck. And those contracts kind of turn into what we're going to see with like Bobrovsky and Carey Price as well when they get older. But they seem to be staying healthy, which is the big thing here. My biggest issue with Sway seems to be growing some tendencies of Binnington getting involved with stuff there's no need to be in, losing concentration. But that's true. And we've seen that last year in the playoffs as well. I can't remember who he ran into. He ran into... Was it? I can't remember. It wasn't Matthew Tkachuk. I think it was Sam Bennett. He ran into someone on the Panthers, and all of that situation kind of reminded me of that. You're right, and I'm not a big fan of it. Swayman seems to know what he's doing. I mean, Binnington did too, but we've seen where that got him kind of getting out of hand. There was an interview I remember years ago, I would say probably 2020 now, where Binnington was talking about how he don't feel pressure. And it reminds me now of what something Swayman would say, and something about that just makes it feel a bit off. But I trust him. I trust what he's doing. I think he's doing the right thing, and he's there for a reason. That's my best bet. He's calm, play along. Yeah, you're right. But when he's focused, and he's laser focused every time he's in the crease, especially what we've seen with Maple Leafs. Very, very good. Very dangerous to play against. And when you see a goal like that having fun, that's a scary sight to see. The Ullmark trade, Felix, I think we should talk about that too. You brought up a good point here. The Ullmark trade is one that I think you're right. We could have gotten more, but I don't hate it. Mark Kastelik is going to be great on this team, I think. I think he's going to be a very underrated addition. With the forwards we have now, he's currently on the fourth line, which I will go to a bit more into these forwards a bit later. But that deal, it does seem to be one that I don't know how to describe it. It seemed like it had to be done. Almost feels like the Bruins rushed it a bit, and especially from the standpoint of where Swayman was not signed yet. That was another big thing that I really didn't like. I would have rather had this whole contract figured out right now, have Swayman signed, then trade Ullmark. Because now Swayman knows that he is the number one, and they have to rely on him. They could have had that, I'll say, threat of keeping Ullmark to make this another 50-50 season between the two, and give Swayman a lesser contract, knowing that, he might not be that guy. They don't want him to be that guy yet, but right now, he has every advantage in his hand, which completely makes sense about what he's doing. MLS, please don't say that. I completely understand what you're saying, but let's hope that's not the case. Let's really, really hope that's not the case. That's one thing. We don't want to overplay Swayman, and that's one thing as well. In his career, he's never been overplayed because he's never had more than 40 something games. I can't remember the exact number, but if we could see him play 50 to 55 this year, that's one that I think will be, solid. That'll be a good start. And we know Swayman can play much more than he has, and he's expressed that he wanted to. Like, he wanted to go every game in the playoffs, and that worked out for the most part. But yeah, 44. Okay, so close to what we're thinking. And then having him go up 10 more games next season, then on top of that, the playoffs, he'll be close on, well, hopefully around 60 to 65 games, 70 games by the end of the playoffs, if they do end up going the distance, obviously. But we never know if that'll happen or not until we actually see some gameplay. But you're right. It's going to be a thing that they're going to have to watch just because Swayman hasn't done it before. He has the experience, but he don't have the full, elite goalie experience yet. Felix, I do think Pastrnak is going to be a very good addition. He's a great centerman. He is very good on the faceoff. That one thing the Bruins wanted to add, and one thing they did add in Pastrnak and a few other players, and along with Elias Lindholm. And I think down the middle, where we were kind of a bit weary on it last year, we had Coyle and Zacha as kind of the 1A and 1B centermen, and now we have a full crew of capable centermen that can even play on the wing if we wanted to. So I'm very happy about it, and I think he will be a very, very good signing. I'm doing good, Bruins fan. How are you? How are you doing today? Hope we're all doing well. Just that goes for everybody here in the stream. Yeah, Sean, they need to they need to they need to have a plan, I guess we could say. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get at here is they need to have a plan going into the season. They can't just expect Jeremy Swayman to put this team on his back. He's going to need help, and he has had that in the past, and he will continue to have that even more this season. And what we're going to see is similar to last year, but the game total and everything like that needs to be good, along with the contract, everything. This has to be just figured out, is the best way of putting it. Thanks, Bruins fan. I'll look into it. You never know down to the road. Right now in the offseason, I gotta say, it's a pretty dead time. So we're seeing a lot of reports and just about everything, and all the free agents too. I have those here, which I will pull up and talk about a bit later. You can see the extra forwards is really the only thing we have, and that Swayman contract. So I'm sure you know as good as I do that the Bruins and the NHL right now is a bit of a low point, but not much longer until we see some more on-ice action, and then camps and everything get started. I can't wait. It's going to be good. I'll take the time, though. I appreciate all the support from everybody here in the chat and during the channel. It's been a very, very fun, happy year so far. And next season is going to be incredible, and I really can't wait. Yeah, Christopher, that's one thing, I've been thinking. That's one thing I mentioned here a little bit earlier, too. Korpisalo being traded, I think, is a pretty cool option. I think that is not going to be one they're looking to go after, but I think it's one that if he plays good enough, teams have interest, and he does have a bigger increase in his stats than last year. It's something that could happen, and maybe even get, if we're lucky, a second, maybe first round pick out of that. But once again, you never know. Stuff like you can't predict none of that, but it makes sense. True MLS. Like, Hellebuyck last year collapsed. That's one thing that really came out of that whole game's played for him, and completely just dominating the net. And that's the concerning point. That's what we don't want to see. But I trust Jim Montgomery. I do. I think he knows, especially with what we've seen over the past 2 seasons with those two, that resting is the much better option until it comes to the playoffs. Once you have a rested goalie in the playoffs, look out. Swayman signs with Montreal. I mean, he can be offer sheeted. He can be offer sheeted, but you know, let's not get out. Let's not get out of our hands here. It will happen. Just going to be a matter of time until it does. You know, still lots of time left. We've seen Pastrnak wait very, very late until September, so it's going to get done. Let's settle it down. Let's not go too far. It will get done. Just by the time. You're right. Other teams can offer. So, you never know. Well, yeah, like I said, it's gonna be the Bruins. No, I think nobody's gonna offer sheet them. Now, if it is an offer sheet for 9 to 10 million, take the 4 first-round picks. Maybe a hot take, but 4 first-round picks, trade them for another goalie. It's just as well, you know, if you're trying to match 10 million, don't even bother. Don't even buy that. That's way, way, way too much. Hey, Mr. Jaggers, long time no see. First stream in a while, so it's good to see some familiar names back here, and still here, I should say. I gotta appreciate you guys for that, for sticking with me. Okay, Sean, that brings up a good point. Why do people think that Laine might not be a great option? If we can get him 50% retained, I know he's not the most solid locker room option, but you know, a potential 50 goal scorer, someone who's proven to have an incredible shot for $4 million, I don't mind it. I'll say Swayman not signed. Bruins call it Bussy. Bruins have cap space now. You never know. Like, something like that could happen. If let's just say now the odds of this happening are slim to none. Swayman doesn't get signed by the start of the season. Bussy comes in, plays with Korpisalo. He plays elite. Becomes an elite goaltender. I don't have any names in mind that something like that would happen up to, but that happens. You come up, plays there, trade Swayman. You have the cap space. You have an elite talent. It's a revamped team. Yeah. If that does happen, the odds are brutal. You know, we'll be in tough shape. But no, the potential is there for Brandon Bussy. 26 years old, I think. But yeah, that Vezina winner as the backup would have been nice to have in a situation like that. You're right there, Alexi. That's a big thing. Big thing we're missing out on, but that's all you can do. That's all you can do. Wes, you're spot on. That's the big thing. We need to sign Swayman before anything else is done. Before we go out and try and get another player, before we go out and, you know, go get anybody else, we have to sign Swayman. Number one priority. Leave everything until later. That has to be done. Thank you, Matt Trapper. I appreciate it. The Bruins updates right now are pretty slim, but we're still getting them out. We're still seeing some, although some of them may be crazy reports. I will not deny that. There's still some things that we gotta keep an eye on, just in case. You never know. Yeah, Laine is definitely, I wouldn't say the most ideal player to have on your team, especially in a fan base like an original six fan base, or a fan base that has, you know, the fans are always on top of the team. I really don't know if Laine would be able to do that. So I do get what you're saying there, Sean. Give you a rundown about Fabian Lysell. What's he good with? What to expect, and what do you need to needs to do to stay with the Bruins? Okay, so the main thing for Fabian Lysell, this is one thing that I can say a lot of people will agree with, and he's very good on his feet, good with moving the puck, good everything. He's very smart, but he's not very big. And I'm not talking about height-wise or anything like that. Like, he needs to put on some muscle if he wants to have success in the NHL. And we've seen players before, I would say similar to his size. One being, I'll use Cole Caulfield as an example. Jack Hughes. Like, some of those guys are a bit smaller. But he needs to put on some more muscle, be able to have that strength on his feet when he's going to be coming up against some guys that are going to be bigger, stronger, especially in the Eastern Conference and the Atlantic Division mainly. There's a lot of big guys on those defenses, and that's going to be the main issue for him. But if he does put on that muscle, continues to play smart, don't rush anything, continues to use his feet well, everything like that, like the hockey basics, I guess we could say, he will have success second, third, or fourth line. Wouldn't say first, but maybe we could see him somewhere along any of those at some point. And I don't know on the screenshot the lines here. If Lysell was on, no, he's not. Lysell was on this before Kastelik, but right now we have Max Jones, who I'm a huge fan of, kind of that Pat Maroon replacement. Johnny Beecher, I see a lot of potential coming out of him. Mark Kastelik, same thing. I really like that fourth line. Trent Frederic, Poitras, and Brazeau, I think could be an elite line as well. Marchand, Coyle, and Geeky. Geeky, I'm not so sure of, but having Lysell in any of these situations, I like it. He's going to be paired with great line mates no matter where he goes, and you can really mismatch any of these. And I still am going to like the way he's going to play. And it's just going to be evaluating his game for that aspect of things. I can pull up. Let's see if there's any news on Fabian Lysell. That's actually a good idea. I mean, the news that we've really had has been the ones I've put in videos, but yeah. Okay, so Fabian on the third line with Poitras and Freddie. I like that. Trent Frederic has that ability, the offensive ability, and the physicality to, take over for Lysell on that aspect of things. But the way that he's been playing lately, Trent Frederic, I've been a huge fan of it. And he has some serious potential. Going to have a good contract coming up next offseason to be able to sign with. Like Fabian Lysell is going to be good. That's one thing that we just need to see him get those games under his belt, and it'll go from there. Yeah, Sean, that's actually a pretty good comparison. Fabian Lysell news. The latest Fabian Lysell news. Is there anything major we're seeing here? Anything major? Not really so far. Brazeau too. Yeah, you're right. Brazeau played for the Newfoundland Growlers, my home team when they were a team. He was incredible to watch. And we know he's not now like his OHL days where he's going scoring 60 goals. He certainly could be, but in the NHL it's likely not going to happen. But his strength, speed, his IQ, his ability to drive the net and just get in the way of anything is second to none. And I really am excited to see him get a full season. Hopefully he stays healthy. And I can see him on the second line easily by the end of the season if things go well. It kind of does put Trent Frederic in that protective role, but for that line is just going to be a very offensive, pressure-heavy type of line. So I don't see that being more of a breakout line. So I think that would limit the opportunities that Trent Frederic would need to kind of cover for Lysell, I would say. Yeah, I would. That's the thing about either Max Jones or Justin Brazeau. Adding size to that line with Lysell, I think is a must, just to make it evened out, I guess is a good way of putting it, where you're not too small on one line, you're not too big on one line. You got the mix of just like a sniper, a playmaker, and a power forward all on one line. Alexi, do you mean this one here? This these daily faceoff ones? Top line center is Elias Lindholm, if that's the one you're talking about. The new acquisition, who, once again, very excited to see him in the Bruins uniform. He's going to be fantastic. So if we put Lysell on the second line, I think that Brad Marchand, Charlie Coyle, and Lysell would work. That's one thing I think, would be fine. Got Marchand there, not being a protector role, but he's a leader. Trent Frederic, Poitras, and Brazeau. I really just like that line, the sound of it. I could picture how that would work out. And Max Jones, Johnny Beecher, and just say that is Lysell as well. You have Max Jones, you put him on the second line, or you put him on the third line, sorry, you have Brazeau there. Good options, I think. Good options up and down the board. Yeah, no, Ryder, that's one thing, the point of concern is for me as well. It's just the size. If he puts on the muscle, I think he'll be fine. But that's just one thing that is very crucial to his development, how he's going to play, to just everything like that. And keep in mind too, these are all just presumptive lines for next season. Nothing here is confirmed. Normally, the way they go off on daily faceoff is the last game, but when you have in the offseason like a bunch of additions, they kind of just put them where they think they're gonna go. Well, I like Trent Frederic on a second line. I like Brazeau on a second line. I like Coyle on a second line. I like Marchand on the second line. There's going to be some people who are not going to be happy with their role on the team, but I think we're going to see a rotation of just about everything, anyways. So I really don't mind that. And that's one thing as well I think we should talk about here is having that extra forward, or the reports and rumors and everything that the Bruins need another second line winger. There's a lot of players on this team now that can play on the second line, especially with 20 more games, I guess we could say, maybe even 10, 15 more games under their belt, can get promoted to that role rather than going out and try and sign a free agent winger, or what there is left. And I'll pull those ones that you have up like now. And there's a lot of older players, but that's where one of my favorite contract styles comes into play. The PTO. The paid time off or a professional tryout, whichever one you want to call it. There's still options of James Van Riemsdyk, had him last year. He works. Not ideal, but he works. Tyler Johnson, who I mentioned in today's video, so make sure to go check that out after the stream. Discussed him and the Nietzsche's deal and how, thankfully, he's not a Bruin. Because that trade that was proposed by the Winnipeg Jets that they rejected, third. I mean, true, Sean. Not easy to please many of them. He's going to be Felix, and that's one thing that I think will work out well for the Bruins because they're going to have the high amount of options. They're going to have a lot of options. Just about every situation, the power play, the penalty kill, these four lines, and testing in preseason with some of the younger guys, pairing up with some of the older guys. I think we're going to find a few very good lines that we won't want to change come playoff time. That is as well. That's true as well. Danton Heinen, loved that guy. Him on this roster, on this lineup, mixed in with a few of these new guys. He would have strived, but it's a next step for his career. It works out, and you got to be happy for him because he is a stellar player. Thank you, Mr. Jaggers. We got a few more coming too. I can't mention too much right now, but that was the first one, and it was nice to have them. Nice to have them, and hopefully we'll have some more too. Some more cool things coming down the pipeline. So let's move on from the Jeremy Swayman talk and like the bottom line talk to that extra position that we're supposed to have. That we're supposed to be adding in form of maybe one of these 18 people, 17 people on the screen. Number 12 is not going to be a Boston Bruin. And we'll make sure that make sure that happens, that he's not going to be on this. And Joe Pavelski as well. Retired. So that's those are two that won't happen. Very, very likely won't happen. But there's still a few more. Well, we don't need defense. Kevin Shattenkirk, Kalen Addison. Those are not really options. Tyson Barrie, not an option, but the defense, we're good on that. You're right, Felix. Love it. It's going to be good. And this defense is scary now, especially with Zadorov. I don't know if Lindholm had an injury. There is an article that I can quickly pull up and see. I didn't read it, but it was about Lindholm. Before we get into all of these players here, I can check that and just see what that was about. Mike's in the way. Hold on. Here we go. See what this says. I'm not sure if this article will say, but it certainly did seem like he had an injury because he just wasn't himself. Yeah, it don't say anything. Just kind of says hopefully his offense will come back up to what we've seen. Which, if that's the case, we love it. Georgi Merkulov as well. That is one player that I think him and Lysell will be on par with each other. I want to see both of them have a few games here and there, if not be in the lineup regularly. I think that those two in specific, there's many, many more as well, but those two right now seem ready. And once again, you don't want to rush anybody into a position they're not comfortable with. If Lysell don't feel like he's strong enough yet, don't put him in. Simple as that. But to me, I think they could be ready. I don't think so, Chris. I think it's just a matter of trying to get the contract that he wants. The whole situation, especially with his agent in specific, they like to get paid. He likes to pay his players. He likes to make sure they get the contract he wants. So, to me, that's kind of just what it seems like. Kind of seems like the Bruins are trying to get him down as low as possible. His agent's trying to get him up as high as possible. Just simple contract negotiations, but just so happens that not too fun for the Boston Bruins right now in that whole situation. Okay, but back to these players here. I seen a Yamamoto. Sean, that was you. Sean, okay. Yamamoto. I absolutely agree. I think Kyler Yamamoto at a very cheap price, having that potential once again, kind of a player similar to Lysell early on in his career. Wasn't the strongest, but he's very, very good. And I like what he could provide for the Boston Bruins if anything does arise from that. He's one player there that I do certainly like. Another one I want to say, well, I mentioned earlier in the video, Tyler Johnson. The experience that he has is just too good to pass up. And I do think I have, bear with me here. Working. There we go. Last season, 67 games, 31 points. On the Blackhawks, that is fantastic. That's a very, very good stats for the Blackhawks, especially being injured. having a completely garbage team around you, apart from Bedard, Philip Kurashev, and a scatter other player. Him playing 50 minutes time on ice still at the age of 34. Happy birthday yesterday, Tyler Johnson, as well. It seems very good to me. I like what he could bring to the table in that veteran presence as well. And he's not the biggest guy either. I'll pull that up again. Sorry for hitting the mic there. 5'8". That would get, some more, I'll say, experience and leadership or mentorship to Lysell, who's kind of around the same build. I mean, Tyler Johnson's a bit bigger, but there's not much of a difference in play style size for them. So I think that would be a very good mentorship area. Would Tyler get a 2-year, $1 million contract or something? I think that's fair. I think that it could be something like that. I'm also thinking it could be PTO, obviously. That's one thing, depending on if he's signed or not. But I feel like he's weighing a few of his options. Because I don't know if he wants to return to the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks got much better. Still not the best team, but they could be sneaky good. And I think that there's a lot of teams that are looking at his playoff and Stanley Cup experience mainly to add to their team. So someone who is a younger team looking to kind of make their way into the playoffs, don't have a lot of playoff experience on their team, he would be a perfect guy to add. And I think the Bruins could, be that team. There's not too much deep playoff run experience on this team right now compared to what we had a few years ago. So I do like that style of contract for 2 years, especially. We have to assume that for 2 years we're going to make the playoffs. Hopefully, have a very good run in the playoffs and get some players who have that experience to help that in the younger generation. Absolutely no to Blake Wheeler. I completely agree. Completely agree. Okay, here we go. I had to pull this back up. I have nothing written down for my stream deck, so I'm kind of just clicking buttons. So I do apologize if it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, Bertuzzi would have been such a fantastic addition back to this team. He's on the point in his career, though, I guess, not like Danton Heinen, but it's a better move for his career. He's getting paid, and the Bruins wouldn't have been able to do it simply, simple as that. So it makes sense, but it would have been a great addition. It would have been really, really good. As he always was. Bertuzzi's contracted this season. That we talked about Felix. Mr. Jaggers, I am. That's the plan. I'm going to, I'm not going to do probably too many game reactions. I'll probably do a few streams during games, kind of watch along style things. I'll be breaking down a lot of the games as well, though. Just about, if not all of them, as well as other news that comes outside. Because I'm going to be back in school, so that's still the priority. But I'm going to have a lot of time, so we'll still be all good on that. We'll still be covering games, just about every game, news, still the same thing that what we're kind of rocking with for this season, plus more. We have a lot more exciting stuff coming too. Contract for the Hawks, Felix, is 5.5 for 4 years. So, the Bruins couldn't do that. As much as you might want to, or the Bruins wanted to, they just couldn't afford that because the Blackhawks have way too much cap space. Oh, MLS, yeah. Swayman has to be done. But I'm just saying, if any of these guys are still available after that signing's done, they're getting to the point where we're closing in on preseason, we're closing in on the camps. They want to have some more experience, some more competitiveness for players trying to make a lineup, try and have that, pressure that someone may take their spot. I think that'd be the good time to do it. I do know who Steve Dangle is. Yes, Mr. I don't know him in real life. I don't know him in person, but I do know I do know who he is. He's a very funny fella. Oh, Felix, I'll have to go back and watch those. All of them. Pastrnak goal in specific to send them. Oh, it's all in one video. Oh, that's perfect then. That'll be good. Well, I know what I'm going to be doing after the stream. Some big sports news today. Not NHL, but football, baseball, all of those thriving in news right now. Wish the Bruins had some. Top 15 best games this season. Oh, that's gonna be cool. Is that going on their NHL's YouTube? And like cut down for like first period, second period, third period, like all put in one video. Bruins fan, believe it or not, I actually don't have any Bruins jerseys. These are the two. Canada and Canada. Now, I know there's nobody on the back, but if there was, it would be Bergeron on both. So, don't worry. There's nobody in the back. And I can prove it. This is the 2014 World Junior one. Nobody. And that one is the Olympic one. And nobody. I'll have to watch those then, Felix. I don't know. I found the NHL YouTube channel weird. They post so many videos. I like that idea as well, Wes. If they pick up players, well, the cap is going to be the whole priority. You don't want to, you don't want to screw yourself over by doing that and signing too many players or signing any players that will make too much money. But that is a very good option. That's why I think Korpisalo could end up being. And I think that would absolutely work. Obviously, he has to be playing semi-decent. But with Boston, I think he will. 3 games for Sunday to 3 out. I enjoy that. That's a cool concept. I'm gonna have a look at that now, actually. I unfortunately cannot put it up on the screen because that will be copyrighted, but number 13 for the best games was best regular season games. Who else but Marchand? Love it. We love that. I would get the Bergeron on this one here because that's the Olympic one, but this one, since it's the 2014 World Junior one, I probably won't get anybody on the back-to-back just because that jersey, like the 100-year one, right there. I kind of just like the way that one is normally. But Bergeron on that one, I think, is definitely an option. I think that'd be really cool. I don't believe yet, Felix. I don't. That's one thing. I don't know how the Fanatics jerseys are going to work. I know they're pretty much all the same. Like, we have our normal home and away. Those are the ones that we're going back to. The only difference is they're not going to have, like, the bumps on the shoulders like the Adidas jerseys do. Or the dimples or whatever they're calling them. But for our alternates, I don't know if they're doing any this season. I'm sure some teams will, but I don't know if the Bruins are. I can probably search up and have a look. There we go. This is from March 21st, 2023. Everything you need to know about the NHL Fanatics jersey deal. I'm going to move my mic out of the way so I can just see. I don't see anything right now on us, but I'm sure it's somewhere. I just don't know where it's to. My favorite Bruins jersey. Ooh, good question. I'm gonna have to get the pictures up because I am horrible with jersey years. So I can screenshot it and pull it up. I don't have a clue what year it is. This one. These ones here. I love these ones. I probably froze for a second just because I'm getting up a screenshot, but like the reverse, the other, like the real reverse retros, what they're based on, like the retro. I don't know why. I love the honey bear and the bottom of the jersey, like right there, like on the bottom, the white and black. I love it. I love it. And I also just like the color. The color too is just seems a very Bruins color. Yeah, Felix, I'm the same ones, but the yellow ones. The yellow is like it's almost gold. The white one is still very nice too, especially like the modernization of it. It looks fantastic. Phil, I feel ya. That's one thing that we discussed a little bit earlier. The possibility of him being on the second line, not a fan. Like, I'm not a fan, but you know, if something happens, if he turns it around, good. But I still think that he needs to be demoted down just a bit, just a tiny bit. And that's where I think you can get guys like Merkulov and Lysell come in. Hopefully that'd be cool. The third jersey we just had is also very nice. That cream color. Out of all the jerseys I've seen, what do I think is the ugliest one? Ooh. I don't really think there's any bad ones, to be honest with you. I don't hate any of them. Like, they're all... I wouldn't say I hate it, but my least favorite would probably just be... I can't remember if it was a Winter Classic one, just the black one with the B on it. And I still don't mind it, but it was just a bit too simple. Like, I like the spoked wheel. That's just That's just a classic. Like, you almost can't go away with that unless you go with the bear. Yeah, like that winter class, like any cream jersey, no matter what sport it is, I think just looks amazing with like the accents of whatever the team colors are. Like, you just can't beat them. Let me pull up that one, Felix. You got me wanting to look at these again now. I love looking at jerseys and like reacting or rating jerseys or whatever. These ones here, preferably not Fanatics. You know, they almost feel like sweaters. Like, they're very, very heavy jerseys. But if this was an Adidas one, the chef's kiss. Love it. The 1924 on it, the colors, the logo, the shoulder patch. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. Not counting Bergeron, who's your second all-time favorite Bruins player growing up? Ooh, good question. I might be a bit biased, but I love Tim Thomas, mainly because I'm a goalie, and he was so weird, but it was good. Like, it was a good weird where, like, he almost didn't have to think about what he was doing, and it's just, you know, his style, everything about him was weird, but I loved it. Because, I mean, I'm only 22, so I don't have that full history of the Bruins, being able to watch them, so I can't really say like any of those older guys, just because I didn't end up watching them. But I would have to say probably Tim Thomas. I would have loved to have been able to like watch the history of, like, not even just mainly the Bruins, obviously, but like old NHL, like 60s, 70s. Like, I would have loved to be able to just watch those, like Gretzky and, you know, Bobby Orr and Lemieux. Like, I don't know, it just looks like a completely different game, but I love it. The Bumblebee jerseys. Let me see if I can pull those ones up. For the franchise, which Bruins do you think is probably bad? One that, you know, I mean, I suppose if it was right now, yes, but Tyler Sagan, I really like him. Really like his play style, everything about him. I think he would have been very good. Now, I wouldn't say this one's a trade, but let me pull up probably the worst move in Bruins history. I will screenshot and pull it up here just to, I know, close your eyes if you don't want to see this because it's quite tough. But the 2015 NHL draft. I'm probably frozen right now. Do apologize. We're good. We're back. This right here. I'm sure many of you know what this is. In the 2015 draft, Bruins had 13 picks 13, 14, and 15. They picked Jacob Zboril, Jake DeBrusk, and Zachary Ascension. Players after were Matthew Barzal, Kyle Connor, Thomas Chabot, Jenny Sveshnikov, Joel Eriksson, Colin White, Elise Samsonov, Brock Besser, Travis Konechny, and Jack Roslovic. That's tough. That is tough. Jake DeBrusk had his time, but we know how that ended up here in this offseason, but that's not something that we want to see, so I will take that off the screen. And I'm sure many of you are probably cringing looking at that, but nothing we can do about it now. Joel Eriksson is one of the most underrated players in the NHL. I'm completely willing to say that as well. He's so good. On an absolute steal of a contract, signed 8 years, 5.3 or 5.8, one of the two, I can't remember. But that is an incredible contract for him. And that would have changed the course of the Bruins history. Like, if just say we picked Barzal, Eriksson, and someone else, like Chabot, that would have been incredible. That would be a super team. But we still have time. We still have time for more moments like that. Now, it's not very often you have 3 back-to-back picks in the first round, but we can see something like that possibly again. You never know. They won't make a mistake the next time, though. For sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I probably will end this one here soon. Probably going to end the stream. Very good discussion. We're getting a bit of more, understanding. Oh, my apologies. Understanding and conversation going about that extra forward that we're supposedly getting, as well as the Jeremy Swayman contract that we're still once again waiting for as well. But I appreciate all of you guys being here in the stream. First one in a long time. Hoping to get them back going on a regular one. We'll still kick it here for a few more minutes, but won't be too much longer. What do you predict for Dean Letourneau? He was my pick for the Bruins in this draft, in the mock draft. For, as soon as we got the pick. I was predicting that he was going to go around that pick anyways. I think he was projected 25 or something, and it worked out. The Bruins got him. He's going to be an elite talent. Now heading to Boston College, I think the potential that he's going to have is going to increase. He's going to gain more hockey IQ there. He's going to have much more difficult competition, which is just going to be, a stepping stone in his career that he's going to need and he's going to strive in. I cannot wait. Very excited. Yeah, the Cam Neely, Ulf Samuelsson, knee on knee. I've seen that one. No worries, MLS. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate all of you guys being here. I could simply be talking to nobody. I would still be talking about the Bruins. So having people to talk about it with is pretty cool. I got to say that. I do enjoy being able to talk to you guys with it. Whether it's in the stream, whether it's in the comments of the videos, whether it's, in the community posts. I do appreciate all of you guys. So I probably will be calling it quits here now for this week. Probably going to do a stream every week. I'm going to try to. I know some of my coworkers do that down at the Digest Media Company. So we're gonna have to trend in that direction as well. It's a good way to kick it back off here in the off season, getting back some more discussions in a pretty down part of the season. But hopefully next week, hopefully next time we do get a stream up, we're gonna have some more news. We're gonna have a Jeremy Swayman contract signed. Hopefully, maybe another player in the works then when that contract is signed. But we never know. It's a crazy game. It's crazy sport, but it's a lot of fun. I'll tell you that. So I do remember Andrew Raycroft. I believe I have an autographed hockey card of his. I think I could be wrong, but yeah, I do appreciate all you guys. And I will certainly see you on the next one. And make sure to check out that video that I posted earlier. Kind of some more discussions about some things that we've been lingering here in this video as well, some extra stuff. But once again, and one final time, I do appreciate all the support that you guys bring. Make sure to hit the sub button if you did enjoy the stream. If you want to stay up to date with all of the Bruins content. So, Same place, same time. You'll see him here just about every day and stream on the weeks. Probably once, twice a week. But once again, thank you guys and have a good one.